What's going on, family? This is Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. I'm going to continue my African-American fight series with a fighter by the name of Kenny Watkins. Now, Kenny Watkins was out of Los Angeles, California. He was a middleweight, fascinating fighter. He was born January 26, 1942, and he fought fighters such as Jack Chase, Milo Savage, Bobo Olson, Georgie Evans, Ray Augusta. I'm just trying to go by memory. Oakland Billy Smith. I know he fought Oakland Billy Smith twice, Fought Milo Savage 4 times. He had a record of 43, 14 knockouts, 12 losses, 4 draws. I want to show you Milo Savage for a moment. Now, this is Milo Savage, California middleweight. Fascinating fighter. Milo Savage was another fighter. If you couldn't fight, he would knock you out. 1 punch. Just as simple as that. And you have to understand, these were hungry fighters. They didn't win all their fights, but they came in there and they gave you everything they had. And at that time, boxing was serious. You took that sport very, very serious. It was a pride that you had walking around your neighborhood. It was a pride you had walking around if you had a day job. And people would look at you in a certain way if you didn't go in there and handle your business. Whether it was a barbershop, wherever you went. So they were very serious. They trained all the time. They knew how to do combinations. At that time, fighters were throwing 4 or 5 punch combinations. They don't do that anymore. They would throw punches to the body, what they call shovel to the body, stab, a straight jab to the body, come up with a hook to the head. They would do half moves, F-stop, which is feint step to opposite position. They had a lot of combinations they were throwing at that time. You were trained to hit the heavy bag. They didn't have really punch mitts at that time. You would hit the heavy bag. You would learn your combinations on a heavy bag, speed bag, double end bag. It was just totally different. But I just wanted to show you Milo Savage. Phenomenal middleweight. So here's Kenny Watkins. He weighed 158 pounds. He began his professional career in 1943, February 4th, against Chester Parks. Ocean Park knocked him out in 4 rounds. February 23rd, Reese Davis, Los Angeles, 4-round draw. I want you to take a look at the schedule here. He's fighting like almost once a week. March 2nd, Wilson Mackey, Ocean Park, defeated him in 4 rounds. March 9th, Willie Collins, Los Angeles, defeated him in 4 rounds. March 15th, A.C. Hainsworth, Ocean Park, and he defeated him in 6 rounds. Reese Davis fought him a few times. He was stopped by Reese Davis in the 4th round on May 4th, 1943. But then he came back to knock out Reese Davis in June 26th, San Diego. Knocked him out in the 3rd round. That was the pride these fighters had. That was the pride they had. He fought Reese Davis, as you can see, 4 times. 1944, Armando Rodriguez. He fought him in Hollywood, California. Defeated him in 6 rounds, January 21st. Now, a lot of these fighters were 6-round fighters, 8-round fighters, 10-round fighters, where they can be fitting on a card. Rome Starr defeated him in 10 rounds on May 24th, 1944. He would fight Reese Davis once again and would defeat him in 10 rounds. He would fight him on June 28th, 1944. Roy Miller, I told you about him, September 5th. He would defeat him in 10 rounds in Los Angeles in 1944. Ray Augusta, Ocean Park, knocked him out in 4 rounds, January 22nd. Ray Augusta had a record of 34 and I think it was like 10 or something like that. Jack Chase, Middlesbrough fighter, July 17th, Los Angeles, California. We defeated him in 10 rounds. Jack Chase was a dynamic fighter. He would fight him twice. August 7th, Los Angeles. He would defeat him again in 12 rounds. He would fight Oakland Billy Smith. He fought him 4 times. August 29th, Oakland Billy Smith. He would be knocked out in the 2nd round. He would fight him again and be knocked out in the 7th round. September 25th that year, 1945. He would fight Jack Chase again, November 23rd, in Hollywood, California, and he would lose the 10 rounds. As you can see here, Reese Davis, Los Angeles. He would knock him out in the 3rd round. That was September 14th. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of his bio here and his record. But this is Joaquin Davis. These are all these guys. I mean, there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fighters back then. It's not like it is now. You can dip and dodge now. You couldn't do that back then. The matchmakers and the promoters wouldn't allow it. The commission wouldn't allow it. You had to face these fighters. So there'll be a lot of blemished records nowadays. Almost no undefeated fighters today. I guarantee you that. I don't care who the fighter is. It was too many fighters, too many rough fighters that you had to face. It was a different time. It's not the same boxing. But I just wanted to give you an idea of the type of fighters that they had to deal with back then in the 1940s. This is Scrapbook Boxing Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series, African American Fight series. Salute to Joaquin, Kenny Watkins. Scrapbook Boxing Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. Salute.